Welcome, Pride, to the revamp and first episode of the Royal Rant. I'm still your host, King Leo. On today's episode, we'll be talking about real growth, real change, and how to upgrade your life without turning into a preachy self-help guru. Now, let's be honest. We've all had those moments where we realized, wow, I could be a little less messy as a human being. For me, it was a time I realized I used "I'm busy" as an excuse when I was really just avoiding hard conversations. I thought I was protecting my peace, but in reality, I was dodging responsibility. That was a wake-up call. So today, we're tackling that head on with 5 steps to leveling ourselves up.
Can't you see, baby? You got me overthinking. Yeah, you got me overthinking. Yeah, you got me overthinking. You got me overthinking. You got me overthinking.
So let's start with self-reflection. But let's make it effective, though. See, you can't upgrade your life if you don't know where you stand. The problem many of us have is we say we want to grow, but we avoid looking at what actually needs to be improved in our lives. Denial is comfortable to a lot of us, but we won't get anywhere if we constantly sit here denying what we need to improve on. We have to start off in life finding out what the real cause and what the problem is that we need to improve on. So let's start off with some action plans. So first off, let's do a life audit. Let's list 3 things you do well and 3 things that need work. Be brutally honest with yourself, because the last thing you want to do is list things that are going to be easy for you to achieve, or to list things that you know needs work, but you've already been working on those things. No, we need to list those things that you know need work and that's going to take time to achieve and that you know is going to make you a better person. As far as the 3 things that you know you do well, those things definitely. List the 3 things you know by far, you know you kill it. Like that's you, that's what you do. No matter what you do, you're going to kill those 3 things. And those 3 things that you need work on, make sure there's 3 things that's going to make you a better person. Not 3 things as far as like, oh, I need to work on, better shoe game. Yeah, that might make you a better person, but I'm thinking more deep. Like I need to work on, giving myself better self-affirmations. I need to work on building myself up more, things of that nature. That's what I mean by 3 things that you need to work on and 3 things that you do very well. Again, be very brutally honest with yourself. Don't take the cheap way out. Again, this is about self-growth. Self-growth starts with you being honest with yourself. Also, I want you to start doing daily check-ins with yourself. Each morning, I want you to ask yourself, what's one small way I can be a better me today? And what's one small way I can be better today? I want you to start asking yourself that every morning, and make sure when you ask yourself that, if you have to, write it down. You don't have to write down the whole question every morning. You just write the question on top of the page, and each morning just have the date and write down what you give your answer. So if you say today, what's one small way I can be better today? And what you can say is, I can try to say one kind thing to each person I come into contact with today. I can tell myself one positive thing each time I look at myself in the mirror today. And I mean each time. So each time you go to the bathroom, you can say, you look really pretty today. Well, you're doing a great job today smiling. You're doing a great job being there for people. Something to just build yourself up so that you don't always feel down. And lastly, let's have that real talk with yourself. Growth isn't about feeling bad. It's about recognizing room for improvement and taking action. So when I say that, I mean, I want you to sit here and have that real talk with yourself. I want you to sit here and be like, okay, these are the things I need to work on. This is what I need to do to improve myself. And I need you to really be hard on yourself, to the fact of don't tear yourself down, but get those things out there. Know what you need to work on. Know what you need to do to build yourself up. Because if you don't know what you need to do to build yourself up, then how can you expect someone else to kind of know what to do to help build you up also in life? Because in life, it's not always about you just building yourself up, but we look for that from other people also. So it's always good to know what we're looking for to build that up, to get that, how can I put this? That validation from other people. So let's start having that real talk with yourself. See, I remember one time I convinced myself I was just bad at time management. But when I actually tackled my day, I found that I spent 45 minutes debating what to eat, an hour scrolling through nonsense, and another chunk of time worrying instead of doing. Turns out I wasn't bad at time management. I was just making bad choices with my time. So the next time you sit here and try to say, I'm terrible at time management, take a real deep look into it as an example and be like, so what do I do with most of my time? Like, really take the time when you have that type of time to do it and be like, okay, what do I do most of my day? And try to actually break down your day and see what you do with your time. And I can almost guarantee you, it's not that you have bad time management. It's not always that there's not enough time in the day. We just need to find better ways to spend our time doing things. So again, with self-reflection and things, let's not always make excuses. Let's not always, do those type of things. Let's actually break it down and look deep into it before we try to make those excuses and, try to kind of isolate certain things when really it's a lot easier when we really take the time to sit there and think about it. But just keep that thought when you're thinking about that self-reflection. Now, the next thing I'm going to look at is let's cut out the bad vibes. And when I say bad vibes, that could be people, that could be habits, that could be excuses. Because let's just be honest, your energy is currency. You must spend it wisely. Because once your energy is exhausted, baby, it is one of the hardest things to build back. Once that energy is gone, it's going to take days, for some people weeks, to get that energy back, just to initiate it and spend it doing the same things over and over again, just to have to go through the same cycles of building them back up. So again, when I say that, I mean deeply. Treat your energy like it is money. Treat your energy like it really is valuable, because it is. Because once that energy has been depleted, the time it takes to build it back up takes way more time than what it takes to deplete it. So just keep that in mind, because the real problem is toxic habits and toxic people drain you really like a phone with a dying battery. If you want to grow, you need to filter out what's holding you back. So here's a little plan that I have to help you with that. Do an energy audit. Who or what makes you feel exhausted? What you need to do is reduce or cut them out. Because someone that drains your energy, someone that's not helping you with or build positive energy, is not someone that needs to be in your life. Something that is draining your energy, whether it is a task, whether it is a hobby that you think is fun, but you feel exhausted every time after you do it, you need to cut that out your life. Now, I know some people are probably saying, oh, my husband is, drains my energy, or my kids drain my energy. Some things, we have to deal with. We have to find other ways to get that energy, or to find a way to help make that less stressful or less energy damaging, I should say. Because sometimes it is what it is. But when I'm saying cut things and people out, I mean like those friendships that aren't really friendships, that are just there, and you're more like they're taking from you but not really giving anything to you, or like hanging out and doing things with people because you want to hang out and do things with them to make them feel good, but it's taking your energy and you really just don't want to do it. So it's like cutting out those exhausting things. Like you have to reduce, or just like I said, completely cut them out. Because sometimes it's not about cutting it out. Just reduce it. Just pull back some, just to have your peace and have your energy. Another huge thing with that is setting boundaries. So many times I come into contact with people, and sometimes I do this myself, where we're not setting those boundaries. We're kind of sitting there and we're like just letting things flow. We're doing things unapologetically. We're doing things because we don't want to hurt that other person. We're doing things because we feel like, you know, I want to be there for this person. I'm going to be a bad friend, or I'm going to be a bad person if I don't say yes to them, or if I don't go this, or if I don't do that. That's not the case. Learning to say no unapologetically, whether it's to draining conversations or to self-sabotage, accountability, like, it matters. You have to learn to start saying no to set boundaries. If someone asks you, do you want to go out to the bar tonight? If you know you're tired, if you know that you're just physically, mentally not wanting to do it, it's okay to say no. It's okay to be like, nah, not today. I'm not feeling it. And if that friend or that person tries to guilt trip you into it, maybe that's that energy, like we were talking before, that you need to reduce or you need to cut out. Because at some point, it's like they're not understanding. You need peace. They're not understanding. You need to reset. And at that point, maybe that's something that you need to reduce on. Or if someone asks you, can you do XYZ for me? And you always tell this person, yes, you're not setting boundaries. Because at this point, that person is always going to expect you to say yes. That person is always going to expect you to be there for them because you didn't set those boundaries. So then when you start to set those boundaries, either A, that person is going to understand. Maybe you may have to explain it to them. Maybe you might have to be like, listen, I know I'm always saying yes to you. I know I'm always there for you. But I'm at a point in my life where I need to pull back and focus on me. I need to relax because my energy is drained. I'm tired. I am mentally and physically exhausted. And it is okay to have that conversation. It is okay to put yourself first. And if that person does not understand that, then maybe, again, that may be someone you need to reduce or cut out of your life completely. Just always keep that option open and understand that some people are putting your life for a lifetime. Some people are putting your life for a season. That's up to you to make that choice and make sure you make it wisely. And lastly, for this one, is accountability moves. When you catch yourself making excuses saying, is this helping me grow or is this holding me back? Because at this point in your life, especially as we start to get older, we have to start making accountability moves. Meaning you have to make moves that is helping you, not moves that are holding you back. So when you are making choices in life, make sure you're asking yourself those two things. Is this helping me grow or is this holding me back? Because now at this point in our lives, we do so many things that I feel hold us back more than it helps us grow. Because we don't think about things in the long run. We think about things more so in the present moment. We think about things more so as in right here, right now, not in the bigger picture. And when I say we, I'm guilty of this myself. I do this also, to where I sit here and I'm thinking like, oh, that sounds great right now. Oh, I can do XYZ right now. I don't think of it in the long run of, am I truly going to enjoy doing this? Is this really going to teach me something? Can I see myself making a career out of this? If it's job related, can I see this actually teaching me a lesson? No. So at that point, this is not helping me grow. This is holding me back. This is a stepping stone that I'm not going to step forward to anymore. This is just a stone I'm going to step on. I'm going to stay and I'm going to stand on, because this is not something that's going to help me grow, because I don't want to grow from this, because it just sounds good at that time being. So always ask yourself, Is this going to help me grow or is this going to hold me back? So I used to let certain people vent to me all the time, thinking I was being a good friend. But then I realized it was the same cycle, the same problems, and I was just their emotional dumpster. So I set boundaries. We can talk about it, but let's also brainstorm solutions. Guess what happened? Some of them disappeared because they didn't want solutions. And that was fine, because that showed me that that person wasn't coming to me with their problems because they wanted help. They just wanted to take their problems and load them on someone else so that they were relieved of their issues as far as feeling them as a weight on themselves. So now they were able to dump them on someone else. As like I said previously, when I said, when a person comes to you, they treat you as their emotional dumpster. So those people that disappeared after I had that conversation with them, that wasn't a loss. That was a gain back of energy. That was a gain back of self-peace. That was a gain back of growth, to where I can take that energy and focus on my own issues, my own emotions, and my own problems. Now, was it a lot of people? No, because people understand. People sometimes don't realize that they're treating you as an emotional dumpster because all they feel is their emotions at that time. So they're not necessarily always thinking of how the other person is feeling. They're not always thinking of, is that person going through something? Or maybe they know that person has been through what they're telling you, but they're not thinking about it at that time because their emotions are so strong in that moment. So once you have that conversation, if they can really sit back and be like, you know, you're right, I understand, then that is a true friend to have. But those people that's like, I don't care about coming up with an issue. I don't care about, not an issue, I'm sorry. I don't care about coming up with, a solution. I just want to tell you what the problem is and then, be done with it. But if we do that, then it's going to be a continuous cycle. It's going to continually happen, and I'm going to continually be drained and you're going to be drained. But the difference between the two is you're okay with going through this constant cycle. I'm tired of it because, again, it's your problems, not mine. And that's not fair to me or you as a person. So if you have that in your life where you have someone that constantly comes to you and spills everything on you over and over and over, and you guys never come with a solution, you guys never brainstorm anything to kind of help with the issue, try that. Say to them, okay, slow it down. Let's talk about it. After we talk about it, after you get off your chest, or let's break it down into sections and let's brainstorm sections on, okay, is this fixable? What can we do to fix it? How can we approach it differently? Let's try this. Or maybe it's not fixable. Maybe we need to cut it ends. Maybe you need to stop doing this. Maybe you need to approach it this way. There's different ways of doing it, but to constantly keep talking about something and never come up with a solution is never going to solve the problem at hand. Just keep that in mind. Another thing is we have to adopt a growth mindset, because every change is an opportunity to level up. See, a fixed mindset tells you that failure equals the end, when a growth mindset sees failure as a stepping stone into something greater. See, a fixed mindset, again, tells you that failure equals the end because you're fixed on that. This was the only way. This was the only solution. I did all that I could. There's no other way to do it. That's it. So therefore, that was the end for you. So you give up. You don't try anything else. Where a growth mindset sees failure, again, as a stepping stone, because when you have a growth mindset, you think to yourself, yeah, that didn't work, but let me try something else. Let's see if we can approach that a little bit differently. Let's see, okay, well, maybe if I don't do it this way and I try to go this way, then maybe the outcome would be differently. Where it's like you are more so thinking of growing versus like, well, that's it. That's the end. And that's not a good mindset to have. You always want to have that growth mindset because everything you do is going to be trial and error. Everything you do is going to be, let's try this. Let's see if it works. Everything that happens in life nowadays, everything we have in the world happened from trial and error. We didn't all of a sudden have the internet because somebody said, oh, I'm going to do the internet. It's here. We're done. That's not how it got here. We didn't get cameras like that. We didn't get food that way. Amazing recipes that we have for stuff didn't just happen because somebody just threw stuff in and said, oh, that works. No, it came from people actually trying different things. It came from people actually trialing and error, growing, and like, that tastes good. I wonder what happened if I tried that. Because they had that growth mindset. They made something that was probably good to begin with into something better. So again, having that growth mindset over a fixed mindset is always going to help you 100 times better in the long run. So let's come up with a little bit of plan to kind of help us get to that growth mindset. So let's try a reframe challenge. Instead of saying, can't do this, say, I'm learning how to do this. So if you're doing something for the first time, or if you've been doing something for a while, but you notice growth, you notice change, don't say to yourself, oh my God, I can't do this. Say, I'm still learning. I'm learning how to do this. Yes, maybe I've been doing it for a couple months and I'm still learning, but as long as you see growth from that, I'm learning how to do this, it's still okay to say. Now, if you're not seeing growth and you're making the same mistakes with the same outcome, then maybe you need to maybe look for help. I'm not saying what you're doing that you're not learning anymore, because you're still learning, but maybe you need help from an outside source to kind of come in and help look at other avenues or other ways of trying to accomplish that. Because at the end of the day, that reframe challenge of thinking, because when you put that mindset of I can't do something, as soon as you say the words I can't, it's already embedded in your head. It's not going to happen. So no matter what someone else says, no matter what someone else does, no matter what you say, no matter what you do, no matter what you find, because you said I can't, it's going to be harder to convince yourself that you can. So as soon as you feel yourself saying, I can't, stop and say, I'm learning how to do this. I can do this. I'm just learning. It's going to take me time. And I guarantee you, you're going to develop a different type of mindset. So please never sell yourself short by saying I can't. You can. You're just learning. Please remember that. And again, another one that's really, really important is to fail forward. Now, some of you are probably like, Leo, what the heck are you talking about? What the hell do you mean fail forward? I'm going to explain it to you. Trust me, I got you guys. So when I say fail forward, what I'm saying is track one mistake each week and turn it into a lesson. So when you fail something or when you make a mistake, don't take it and be like, dang, I messed up. And you go back and you like, dang, I can't do it now. No, take that mistake each week and practice it or work on it and do it until you execute it and you have moved forward past it. Therefore, you have taken that fail and you have moved forward past it and you have conquered it. So therefore, you have failed forward. So again, fail forward, guys. Track one mistake that you have made each week, whether it's the require or whether you made a mistake that Sunday, that Monday, however you feel fit to do it. Take one mistake that you've made that week and turn it into a lesson and teach yourself and say, I am learning. I am going to fix this. I am going to figure this out because I refuse to fail backwards. I am going to fail forward. I am going to achieve and I am going to move past this. Another great one, you have to create yourself as successful. And some people may be like, well, King, how do I do that? There's a couple different ways you can do that. One that I really like is progress is greater than perfection. Again, listen to what I'm saying. Progress is greater than perfection. Stop aiming for flawless. Aim for better than before. I'm sorry, I have to say that again, y'all, because I feel like not everybody's listening. Whether you guys are listening and actually sitting here watching the video, or if you just have your AirPods in, your headphones in, and watching while you're at work or while you're cleaning, listening to this. Progress is greater than perfection. Stop aiming for flawless and aim for better than yesterday. See, I once bombed a presentation. Yes, me. I mess up stuff all the time, believe it or not. Like, I bombed the presentation so badly that I wanted to quit. I wanted to give up doing that altogether. I was so embarrassed. I was like, why did I do this? Why? I was unprepared, but instead of me asking for more time, instead of me being like, I'm not prepared, I just did it. My slides were a mess. I panicked midway through. I could just feel the awkward silence. My first instinct, I'm never doing this again. I'm not doing this again. But instead, I was able to rewatch my performance. Because it was recorded, I was able to rewatch it. I took notes, and I committed to learn how to own the room and learn from my mistakes. As you guys keep listening to this podcast, for this episode, the biggest word is learn. We're human. We learn from our mistakes. We have to learn. That's how we grow, is by learning. So I learned how to own a room. And a year later, I delivered a talk to the same people for the same company. And those people gave me the biggest round of applause. I had so many people asking me questions afterwards, picking my brain, asking me how I came up with those ideas, asking me how I was able to take, because some people remembered the one from last year prior, very embarrassing, as I said, and asked me how I took that and made it into the greatest presentation that I had now. And I said to them, I learned, I watched, I took notes, I initiated, and I presented. I beat myself down for a little. I was honest, but I didn't beat myself down for long. I learned, I took notes, I watched, I initiated. And that's how I was able to achieve what I was able to achieve. Now, this was important to me. Make small wins your superpower. See, big changes start with small moves. Most people overwhelm themselves by trying to change everything all at once and then give up. Like, we wonder why we try to take these big things on. We try to make these big moves. We try to have these big ideas, and we try to initiate them all at once and wonder why it fails. You have to make small moves in order to make big changes. Big changes start with small moves. So you can't overwhelm yourself with so many changes all at one time and expect them all to work out. Things are going to get lost. Things are going to get forgotten. Things are going to become overwhelming. And you're going to be like, oh my God, I can't do this. This is too much. And you're going to give up. And all the work you put in just became pointless, just became unimportant, because we didn't take that and break it down into smaller steps. We try to do it all at once. So let me see if I can help with that just a little bit. One way we can help take those big things and break them down is, let's break it down into what I would call micro wins. Pick one tiny habit to improve this week and one habit each week moving forward. Now, if you haven't improved on that one habit you had that week currently, continue that habit until you feel you have improved on that habit to your liking, and then move on to the next. Because one thing you don't want to do is to have one habit or one thing that you want to improve on for that week and you didn't improve on it. You're like, oh, well, I'm not comfortable with how that is, but I'm gonna move on to the next one. Because again, you just did what we just talked about. You gave up on it and you moved on to the next one, but that one was not complete. So one thing we want to do is, if you did not improve on that one tiny habit or that one thing that you wanted to do, then continue it on until you have perfected that one thing, and then move on to the next. Whether it's drinking more water, avoiding negative self-talk, or doing one productive thing daily. Any of those can be micro wins. Like I tell myself now, I want to drink more water. I'm trying not to drink as much soda. I'm trying not to drink as much juice. I'm trying to drink more water. It's a little harder. So I've tried to okay, I'll try flavor waters. So I went and bought me a little circle water bottle with the little flavors. So that's helping me drink more water. And I've been doing that now for about 2 weeks. I have the need now that I feel like I have perfected that. So now I feel like I can move on to another thing. Yes, as you heard, it took me about 2 weeks before I actually felt the need that I perfected that. And that's okay. It doesn't have to be 1 week, but just start with trying to make it 1 week. And if you need more, then do more. Now, it may take you only a couple days to feel like you perfected something. That's great. Move on to the next one, but try to make it 1 week. Try to do one whole week of making sure you're doing that daily, every day for a week straight before you can say, I'm good, I perfected this. Because you may do it for 2-3 days straight, maybe 4 days straight, and be like, I got this. This is easy. And then you stop thinking about it because now you've developed in your mind that you perfected it. So now it's out of sight, out of mind. So then you stop doing it now. To where if you do it for a week straight and you keep just telling yourself, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this, to the point where after that week, it might become where it's just habit now. So now you're not even telling yourself to do it. You're just doing it. So keep that in mind. Like, again, like I said, whether it's drinking more water, whether it's avoiding negative talk, or whether it's doing a productive thing daily, do micro wins. Trust me, it's going to help a lot more. Another one is stacking growth. What I mean by that is small habit building. Like, if you improve 1% daily, you'll be at 37 times better at the end of the year. I know that sounds very minute, but Rome wasn't built in a day. I know that's very cliche and it's said a lot, but it's very true. Rome was not built in a day. It took years to build Rome. So just improving yourself 1% daily, you'll be 37% times better at the end of the year. But just for improving yourself in general, you will be a better person. So stack your growth on top of your micro wins, improve yourself percentile. You will be a better person at the end of each year, to where the more you stack your micro growths, the more you continue with this, the more you're going to grow yourself, the more you're able to do your micro wins, the more you're able to stack that growth, the more you're going to increase your improvement daily percentile, the more at the end of the year, you're going to be a better you. But the most important part about that is keep it fun. Challenge yourself. Like, don't make this boring. Don't be like, I'm just going to wake up and go drink some water. I'm not going to have a cup of coffee today. I'm going to try to drink some tea. Or I'm going to take the stairs today instead of get on the elevator at work. Something like that. No, make it fun. Keep it challenging. Challenge yourself in a way that excites you. Gamify your growth. Reward your milestones. See, once I decided to wake up 30 minutes early, at first it felt pointless. But soon, I was knocking out tasks I normally pushed off. Then, I had extra time to work out suddenly. I had more energy. That one small change had a domino effect that upgraded my whole day. So again, keep it fun. Do something minute. It doesn't have to be something major. It doesn't have to be something huge. It can be something very small. Like I said, for me, it was just waking up 30 minutes early. That waking up 30 minutes early every day, instead of waking up literally 45 minutes prior to be at work, and I'm rushing, doing everything I had to do, let the dogs out, run upstairs, take a shower, brush my teeth, wash my face, get dressed for work, make sure I look presentable, make sure I smell good, rush and do all that 45 minutes where certain things will get skipped just to make sure I'm presentable, to where waking up just that extra 30 minutes, I honestly felt more energized, because me rushing to get all that stuff done in 45 minutes actually tired myself out more than me just waking up early gave myself more energy throughout the day. So just keep that in mind. It's the small things that can have the most major impact. So last thing I want to talk about before we end this first and amazing episode is, please hype yourself up. Without over flattering your ego, of course, but hype yourself up. Confidence is key. Arrogance is a downfall though. But please hype yourself up. Confidence is the real key. But the problem, many people shrink themselves or go overboard trying to improve something. You don't have to go overboard or become conceited or bring yourself down to this little tiny small bubble to improve yourself. But then also, when I say hype yourself up, don't hype yourself up to the point where nobody likes you because you seem overconfident, you seem overhyped all the time. Hype yourself up, but hype yourself up that it's good enough that you feel confident about yourself, but it's not too much that people look at you as you're too much. So good ways to do that is daily self-affirmations. Now, if you haven't seen any of my other videos on YouTube or anything like that, or my little TikTok videos, I'm very, very big on daily affirmations. But real. Say, I am growing into the best version of myself, and my crown stays secure. I picked that one for a reason, because I say that to myself, because I don't call myself King Leo for nothing. I wear an imaginary crown. If I'm being honest with y'all, I have real crowns that I have here at the house. If you've seen some of my other videos, I have some videos where I actually wear a crown that actually says King on it. I have the word King on my arm. Like, I really look at myself like I'm a king, like I'm royalty, but not overboard with it. So I really do say to myself every day, I am growing into the best version of myself, and my crown stays secure. Just little affirmations like that, just hyping yourself up every morning will keep you with a better day. Just look at yourself in the mirror and just be like, I'm that shit. Sorry for the word, sorry for the language, but just kind of tell yourself that in the privacy of your own home. Hype yourself up to say, I'm growing, I'm becoming a better me, I'm going to be a better person, and you're going to feel better throughout the day. And then when you're out there and you're in public and you're doing your everyday task, do those little silent flexes throughout the day. True confidence doesn't need an audience. Focus on inner growth, not external validation. So do your little silent flexes. Like I said, when you at work or you're out shopping and you have to do a bathroom run, or you're trying something on in the fitting room, be in that room like, dog, I look good as hell. Like, oh, I had a good day today. Or you walk by yourself in the mirror like, I am really proud of myself today. I didn't get mad at nobody today. I didn't flip out on nobody today. I did all my tasks. You know, give yourself them little silent flex. Don't look for it. Don't walk by your manager, or don't walk by someone and expect them to say, dang, he or she looks good today. Don't walk by your manager and be like, expecting to be like, you really worked hard today. No, give yourself them flex. Give yourself them props, because at the end of the day, nobody's going to hype yourself up better than you. So baby, give yourself them silent flexes. Hype yourself up in silence. Because as long as you keep doing it, and as long as you keep putting yourself out, eventually it is going to be seen, and eventually it is going to be recognized. So show up for you. Keep promises to yourself. Your confidence grows when you prove you can trust yourself. See, There was a time when I felt like I needed to prove my worth through validation. More likes, more compliments, more applause. Then I realized the most confident people aren't waiting for approval. They move with assurance. So I started moving as if I already had the confidence. And over time, I became real and I started moving with the confidence that I needed to grow. So again, moving with the confidence that you need to grow and having that silent flex and having that, telling yourself like, I don't need that outside validation. I don't need no one to tell me that I look good. I don't need no one to tell me that I'm doing a good job. I know I look good. I know I'm doing a good job. That is the kind of attitude that we need to have within ourselves. And over time, that will shine, that will glow, that will reflect, that will show to everyone else. So just keep that in mind as you're going through life. And please, always keep yourself glowing and keep that light shining all the time. All right, let's do a quick rundown of the 5 ways to level up and become a better person. The first one we talked about was self-reflection. Get real about your strengths and your weaknesses so you know what needs to be upgraded and what needs to be worked on. Next, cut out the bad vibes. Whether it's draining people, bad habits, or excuses. Remove what's holding you back so that you can grow into a better you. Next, please create a growth mindset. See setback as a stepping stone, not a stop sign. Small wins really do matter. Tiny daily improvements add up to massive long-term challenges and changes. Massive long-term changes. Just the small wins alone can give you great improvements. Confidence with humanity. Hype yourself up, but don't let your ego run the show. Hype yourself up within, and I guarantee you it is going to show on the outside without you having to do too much. So listen, self-improvement isn't about turning into some perfect, ultra disciplined, never messing up superhuman. It's about being intentional, choosing to grow, choosing better habits, choosing to hold yourself accountable while also giving yourself grace. You don't have to change everything overnight. Just start somewhere. Small steps lead to big results. Go forth, my fellow pride, and keep adjusting your crown. Whether today was a win or a lesson, remember, you're already leveling up just by being here. Keep striving, keep evolving, and I'll see you on the next episode of The Royal Rent.